Hey guys, welcome back to Human Condition. This video is another video in our astrology series. This video is what does it mean to be a Gemini ascendant? So to just figure out what it means to be a Gemini ascendant, we first have to talk about what the ascendant sign is. The ascendant sign is basically how someone acts and their initial persona and how people perceive them. And it's different from the sun and moon sign because the sun is how one expresses themselves after they act, and the moon is one's emotional, how they feel and what their desires are. So basically, the ascendant sign suggests it's our actions and our persona, and it also there's 12 houses, and each 12 houses suggest the life experiences that one might have in life. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that factor into this, like psychology, philosophy, all these other things that obviously affect our life as well. But these have a lot of nice correlations and coincidences, I guess you could say, to our day-to-day life. So what does it mean to be a Gemini ascendant? So the first house, the ascendant, is in Gemini. Gemini is a sign of communication, intellect. So these people, Gemini is kind of like the debater sign. It's a sign of good communication, logic, intellect, thinking deeply. It's a personal sign, so it's very individualistic type of thing, type of sign, where uh, there's interpersonal and there's universal. Personal is more focused on self. They're more self-oriented. Not that they're selfish, but they're more focused on their self at first and then helping. So Gemini is focused on thinking deeply about things and communicating. So that's their first house. They're good with words. They're pretty good at coming up with new ideas and concepts and thinking deeply about things. The second house is for Gemini ascendant, using the whole house system, which I mentioned briefly in my first video, my Aries ascendant, the whole house system. But the second house is the sign of love and money, and it's ruled by Taurus. So the second house for Gemini ascendant would be in Cancer. So basically what this means is Taurus, love and money, is in the sign of Cancer, which is past, home, and family. So for Gemini ascendants, typically, it suggests that people make their friendships. This is the second house. It's a sign of how they make group friendships, especially. Their group friends or the support group comes from their past, home, and family. That's what this suggests. So it means that these people are really good at probably making lifelong friends, and they typically suggest that you have like a really good connection with your family for a Gemini ascendant, and also maybe potentially family's financially stable to an extent because love and money is in past, home, family. So their friend groups are usually from their childhood potentially, and that kind of is how the dynamic works for the Gemini ascendant, where they can make friends in the future. They're really good at making lifelong friends from their childhood. Third house, communication, intellect. What they talk and think a lot about. It's in the sign of Leo, so kind of similar to whereas Taurus ascendant we talked about last time, their third house was in Cancer. That they're always thinking about their family and talking about their family. For Gemini, they're talking and thinking about expressing themselves and being more confident. So they're always thinking about the next time they can reach out to know more people, express who they are. They're thinking about becoming more confident because Leo. All signs have pros and cons, so potentially their mindset might sometimes borderline egocentric, but not always, because Leo is a sign of ego with communication, intellect, and Leo, when they might talk and think about a lot of ego potentially, but not always. But they talk and think a lot about expressing themselves, being entertainers, charismatic, and they think about when the next time they could reach out to people and be uh, a good entertainer, basically. Um, Fourth house is their past home and family. So with Gemini, the fourth house is Virgo. So basically, this type of dynamic is past home and family is in hard work and determination, and I'll do this for you, do you do this for me? So this can suggest maybe like a family business, because when you put Cancer and Virgo, Virgo is the workforce, Cancer is the family. So you kind of put it together, it makes like a family, maybe like a family business. So they might the family might, just a speculation, their family might, if they are financially stable, like I said earlier, it might be due to some sort of family business. It's just, at least that's how I interpret it. So past home and family, their family might instill a work ethic, a really good work ethic, into them. That would be really good. So they might, when they're young, they might probably work a lot of jobs, or just have a really good work ethic. They're also might like a Virgo is a sign of small talk, so there might be like a lot of back and forth banter with their family, and small talk as well. But mainly, they instill the ideals of I'm gonna do this for you, and you do this for me, and then with their family as well, they might be like, I'm gonna do this for you, but you have to help me, type of thing. Sometimes. For fifth house is interpersonal and creative expression, how each ascendant sign might express themselves one-on-one, how other people might express themselves to the ascendant sign. So with Gemini, it's Libra. So this is because the first house is Gemini. Their self is communication, intellect. So when they talk and share their opinions, they attract people to them that want to hear their opinions, and that's where we get to the fifth house, Libra. Friendship, or just two people hanging out, basically, is Libra. And that makes sense because Gemini, they take action to express themselves and share their opinion, which obviously makes at least another individual listen to them and hear their opinion, and makes the other individual want to express their own opinion. So for this sign, how they express themselves is very friendly, very diplomatic, and pretty agreeable. So that's why they're so really good at making lifelong friendships, is because they're very agreeable and very friendly and like to think deeply about things. So that's, they might express more about what the person wants to hear sometimes, because it's not like it's an Aries, which is expressing oneself. It's Libra, which is other person, friendship. So sometimes might express what the other person wants to hear, and other people might express what they want to hear, and not always what they're actually thinking sometimes, but not always. Sixth house is Virgo, job, work ethic, day-to-day life. With a Gemini ascendant, this is typically opposite the 12th house. The 12th house is secret desires. It's kind of like a dope, cool one, a pretty lit house. In day-to-day life is often in Scorpio. Scorpio represents intimacy, death, and transformation, which I know sounds kind of intense. It just means their day-to-day life is about personal growth and development, and is more focused on having a deep emotional one-on-one connection with people within their jobs. So they might be good like therapists potentially, and not having the lightheartedness with sometimes that's associated with Taurus. It's like emotional depth with people, but they might desire more of just like a chill lightheartedness and not such emotional depth. So they might day-to-day life try to always grow and improve, which is like and then achieve more within their job, and their job might have something to do with helping people break down bad habits, which is like the intimacy death, transformation death represents bad habits potentially. Transformation is personal growth. And then within their job, they also might have people trying to help them grow. So their day-to-day life is more focused on personal growth, whereas and that might make them struggle to make a friend group per se, maybe just a strong friend group, and because they're more focused on making one-on-one friendships, which isn't that bad, which is still good. And it might make it harder for them to find like a steady romantic relationship and financial freedom. So yeah, because their finances, like I said, their family might be financially stable with their own family business, but they might want to break away from that and have their own. They might rely too much on that. Scorpio is a sign of relying, whereas Taurus is a sign of independence, at least financially. So they might feel like, I feel bad, I want to make my own finances. I don't want to rely so much on potentially the family business to make wealth. Seventh house is Libra. Is Libra and ruled by Venus, which is friendships. So Gemini with this sign is opposite sign, which is Sagittarius. Learn new things and traveling. So Geminis likes to stay in their neighborhood in like their local towns, and they don't really like to travel. If they travel, it's usually within state or at least within country. They don't like to travel globally potentially. It's not the sign of, not always, because it's a sign of global travel. Sagittarius is a sign of global travel. So the friends they might attract are obviously opposite to them. So they might attract people who are travelers. And because like the sun is action, like expressing opinions, and they attract people who want to say maybe potentially what they want to hear, and they want to say to them what they want to hear, but the ironic part is with two people saying what the other one person wants to hear, they both end up knowing what the other person wants, if you think about it, because like that makes sense. In that regard, they also attract people who want to learn. Gemini is kind of like, I want to express my opinion. Sagittarius is like, I want to learn. So it kind of goes sort of well together, but not always, because they attract people to want to know more, learn more things, kind of like a teacher, and Sagittarius is kind of like a student. I could be wrong, but I think that's how the dynamic. So with one-on-one friendships, there's a lot of shared learning. They can learn a lot from other people, their friends, their one-on-one friendships, and people can learn a lot from them. Friends might be travelers, and they might only be travelers when their friends encourage them to be like, hey, you want to travel here with me? And they're like, oh, sure, type of thing. Eighth house is a kind of cool one. I thought it was one of the coolest ones, in my opinion, which is all signs have pros and cons. So the eighth house suggests which one's struggle in life is and where they have to grow to improve. So the eighth house is where they might struggle. So Gemini might struggle with reputation. And this is just potentially because Gemini is obviously the sign of like communication, intellect, and expressing your opinion. So obviously, if you express your opinion for long enough or too long, eventually it might hurt your reputation, your future success, and like career. This is where Gemini might potentially struggle. So the like life lesson, I guess, is like how to like word your opinions better, I guess, or not better, but just like express them at the right time. So that's the eighth house. Ninth house is learning new things and traveling. For Gemini Ascendant, this is in Aquarius, which is society. So they might learn a lot from society as a whole, which kind of makes sense because they make those good one-on-one friendships and connections. And they like, and when they travel, it might be um, because, like I said earlier, like their friends, or like one one of them travel with them, so like doing it for good reasons. Also, Aquarius is a sign of humanitarian, so they might be the type of person who does travels for humanitarian work potentially. Their 10th house, which is the next one, and this one kind of explain why the reputation, they might struggle with the reputation. The 10th house is reputation, future, and success. And for a Gemini ascendant, it's in Pisces, which represents self-sacrifice, self-isolation, which kind of sounds intense, but just basically means they are willing to positively, they're probably seen as very empathetic. Like I said earlier, they're like counselors and they really care, have that deep one-on-one emotional connection with people, but they might care so much that they take the blame for sometimes with others, and them taking this blame could hurt their reputation. So that's probably why, like, it's not necessarily that they did anything, it's also because they might have took the blame for others because they care so much, and that's the Pisces part. But the people that truly know them, deeply know them, know that they're see them as very empathetic. The people who don't might see them the wrong way, but the people that truly know them, their reputation is as empathetic, and they see them as empathetic. So that kind of ties it together, makes it more sense, I guess, in a way. 11th house is society. So this is typically how one impacts society and how society impacts them or views them. So with Gemini ascendant, it's in Aries. Aries, in this is also how they view society and how they view society impact them. So they also might see society as independent from them per se, and society views them as independent trendsetters, like Aries, and they might view society the same way as independent from them, and kind of impulsive and harsh or borderline aggressive to them, potentially. But positively just means society views them independent, and they view society as independent, which gives the Gemini ascendant a lot of freedom. And then finally, the sign, 12th house, the sign of self-sacrifice and self-isolation associated with Pisces. And this one is in Taurus. And because try to put it all together and try to make it make sense for me as well. Family business, they might run a family business, have really good work ethic and be really caring, take the blame for other people's, might tarnish their reputation. With all these things being said, it might be harder for them to maintain a long-lasting friend group. Still good at one-on-one friendships, but a long-lasting friend group, financial stability, freedom, and not have to rely on the family business, and romantic relationships because of the reputation thing. However, obviously, it's still possible. The same way for Taurus, it's possible for them to finally gain independence if they work on where the growth area is. If Gemini works on where the growth area is, it's still possible for them to make that strong friend group, to make that romantic relationship, and to achieve financial stability and freedom, and not have to rely, even though the family business might be good, not have to rely on that and have their own financial freedom. So yeah, I hope you guys like my analysis of a Gemini ascendant. It's an awesome, they're awesome, really friendly, very empathetic, and even take the blame for people, and which might take the blame for people, which hurts their reputation, but just because they're good people, they can take the blame, and they're awesome people. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Obviously, this doesn't define people completely. There's a lot of other things that happen that makes people's life experiences. There's a lot of coincidences between the sign and life experiences. So as always, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.